Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my channel. I've got a brand new interview with It's Yourself, Grado.
What you say to it, Dan? You alright? You having a good
I'm
day?
good, mate. I'm good. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, no bother at all, pal, anytime.
So, what were you like growing up in Ayrshire?
In Ayrshire, well, I suppose I was just like well, I was obsessed with wrestling when I was a boy. So, and I was actually quite late at liking wrestling because I looked at my pals, by the time they got to primary 7, they all fun it out and started saying it was a lot of rubbish. Whereas at primary 7, I just got right into it. I liked my Fitbit, I liked my wrestling, and I liked going to my gran's every weekend. That's what I'd done.
So, what got you into acting and becoming a wrestler?
So becoming a wrestler, basically what happened was there was a radio show every Saturday night called Talk Sport Wrestling, and I would phone it up every week. I'd phone it for my grands every weekend. When all my pals were out partying and drinking and everything else, I was phoning up wrestlers on Talk Sport. And one day I asked if there was any wrestling schools in Scotland, and as a matter of fact, one was just starting up in Scotland. This was 2002, so I was 14-year-old. And basically, that's how I started. I went to a training school in East Kilbride, then I went to one in Linwood, and I made my debut in wrestling in 2004, so I would have been 16. And I've basically wrestled since then. I took a couple of years out at one point because I thought I was going to be a rock star. But other than that, I've wrestled mostly every year. And the acting has basically came for I done a documentary for the BBC through ICW. ICW followed me about in Insane Fight Club. That was in 2014, and it went out in March 2014, BBC nationwide. And the next day, the director for the show says, "Stand by your phone because River City are going to phone you and they're going to offer you a part." And this was just the night after I had been on the telly. On the documentary, I never had any acting experience apart from being in a wee kind of snidey drama class in Saltcoats Hall when I was about 10, 11-year-old. But I went straight into doing River City. It only lasted 8 episodes, mind you, but it was a good wee start for me.
What inspires you?
What inspired me? Well, I'm obsessed with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. I've idolised him since I ever started watching wrestling. I've always wanted to be The Rock. Just his catchphrase, his entrance music, everything about him. I've always kind of aspired to be like The Rock. I'm no far off him. Do you know what I mean? It's just I've maybe not got the same body, but I do the same wrestling moves as him. And I'm not quite in films yet, but we'll see. He's not, as I always like to say, I must say this every time I come on. He's never been on River City yet. Once he's been on River City, he can talk.
What was it like to meet Jason Cummins at HTC?
Well, how did you think of that video?
That was funny as fuck.
So that day I was supposed to be, it was mental because I was there for a kind of charity penalty shootout and it was to be filmed. I don't even know if it even seen the light of day. And I turned up at the Hibs training centre. By the way, Hibs have got a tidy training centre there.
Have you been there?
Aye. Hey, and the soup. I love the soup, man. That's what I was doing. Basically we went in, we had done the penalty shootout. Neil Lennon, who was brilliant. Well, I was the goalkeeper. Right? And every single player scored. Every single player. And I'll tell you, everybody was brand new. Neil Lennon was brand new to me. And I just remember I was sitting at the lunch table with all the Hibs players, and I hadn't seen Jason Cummings. I don't know what had happened, but the next minute he comes rocking in his breeks with the Like a Prayer song, and we just started rolling about, and everybody thinks we rehearsed it, but we never. We would just start throwing each other about. But I remember getting out the Hibs training centre, driving home, and within 2 hours, man, the thing went absolutely mental. It was all the news sites. Neil Lennon was getting asked about it in interviews because that weekend they had I think it was a semi-final of the Scottish Cup. I can't remember who these were playing, but it might have been Falkirk. No, is that right? Did it might have been Falkirk?
What year was that? 27?
20, was it 16? 2016, definitely 2016. Can you think who they played? I can't mind, but there was talk because Neil Lennon was getting asked and he was gone. I think it's right. Dundee United rings a bell. And, you know, and the reporters were asking Neil Lennon, I mean, do you think this is right that you let your player get involved in a wrestling match? And it was brilliant. And Neil Lennon's gone, well, Grado's a trained professional. He's a trained professional. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. And it was just, he was brand new with it. And it was just a wee bit of fun, man. I wasn't going to injure him. He certainly wasn't going to injure me. You know what I mean? But Jason Cumdog's a good boy. Say that again?
Should have done it with Neil Lennon.
Oh, that would be a video, would it? No, me throwing about Neil Lennon.
What made you become a Rangers fan?
I suppose just the way everybody's a football fan, and it's a father, whoever your dad supports. That's what happened with me. I grew up supporting Glasgow Rangers and Kilwinning Rangers. So, and I got my first season ticket when I was 8-year-old. It was the season 95-96 when Gaza won his 8 in a row. And that was my first season. And ever since then, I've always supported Rangers. And I suppose when the wrestling kind of took off, I never got to see the football as much. But recently, it's always been through the week games that I've managed to get to. So I've supported him ever since a boy, just through my dad.
Were you at the 2016 Cup final?
No, I wasn't. I'm glad I wasn't. Tell you, Matt, do you know where I was that time? Were you at the Cup final?
Of course, I'm a Hy-Vee.
You would have been delighted that day. I remember I was driving down my pal. I was going to be in I was wrestling Sha Samuels in a nightclub in Liverpool, and Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, he was going to be the special guest referee. I remember getting a lift in, and I had been drinking the night before, and I was absolutely bust. And I think the Rangers will go up at 2-1 at one point.
Aye.
And it was 2 each and then 3-2. Is that right? Am I getting that right?
Aye.
I'll
tell you so. I was at the day before, night before, I was at Gallifreydine Player of the Year Award. I got very drunk.
Did you? I bet you just kept going then,
Well, next day. On the Saturday night when I got home, I went back on it.
Quite right, mate. I'll tell you, I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. I don't know, who are you? What do you think? Are you still on? Oh, hold on. There's a mechanic phoning me. 2 wee seconds. Can you hear me now, Dan?
Aye.
2 wee seconds. A mechanic's phoning me. 2 wee seconds. Sorry about that, mate.
That's all right.
Yeah, let's see if we can hold on if I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Aye.
Oh, hold on. It's not my sounds went halfway there. Speak again, Dan.
Hello.
How's it doing that? That's annoying. Yeah. Wait to see. Speak now.
Hello.
It's fucked with my volume. Can I come in this? Can I come in back in this? Well, I don't mess up. Can you edit them up together? I'll be 2 minutes.
I can pause. So.
What were we talking about? We're talking about Hibs in the League Cup now.
Aye.
Aye. Well, that was a good day for you, mate, and it's a day I don't like to go back and often think about.
Favourite show you've been on?
I love all the shows that I've been on. I loved River City. I loved Scott. Well, I love Scott Squad because there's no script and you can basically get free rein and do what you want. Plus, you get to dress up as a copper for a couple of days and drive about in a police motor. Two Doors Down, I loved doing it because I loved it before I joined it. It's my favourite programme. I love Elaine C. Smith. I love Johnny Watson. I love Doon McKeegan. I love Alec Norton. I love hearing everybody's stories on the set. I love hearing old stories about Only an Excuse for Johnny Watson. I love hearing about old Absy Nisbet stories off Elaine C. I love hearing about Renford Rejects for Alec Norton. Everybody's got Annabella Weir's got great stories. So I suppose every show I've done is different, but I suppose probably Scott Squad or Two Doors Down. I love the best, and all the wrestling shows that I've been on, I've loved that.
You know, on Scott Squad, you know the Chief. Is he actually a Hibs fan?
Oh, Jack Docherty's a Hibs fan, I think so, aye. Aye, he is a Hibs fan.
Could you try and get me him?
I'll try and get his autograph, aye.
No, could I interview him?
All right. I interview him. Aye. I'll try and get his details for you.
Just what did you enjoy being in River City?
I did enjoy being in River City because it was the first time I'd ever been on a set before. It was also the place where I met one of my best pals, Shell Suit Bob. So it was good to bump into him for the first time. And it was just a good learning experience, so it was, because there's so many good folk on there that have been acting for years that I get loads of advice for. Just a shame it didn't last long enough. 8 episodes, you know what I mean?
Best football game you've watched?
My favourite football game that I've been at, do you think? Is that what you mean, best football game you've been to? I'll tell you my favourite game was Rangers at Rugby Park when we won the league in 2011. We were supposed to, it was one of the helicopter Sundays, whereas I think it came down to goal difference. And we were up 3-0 within 10 minutes. And I was front row at Rugby Park, and my mate Vidrosson was a copper and a Celtic fan, and he was guarding us right in front of us. So it was just me and him making eye contact for the full 90 minutes, which was superb.
Was it easy to get into acting for yourself?
Well, I suppose, I mean, I've apart from doing drama at a community hall, I never really done it. But I tell you what I did do was, once I watched myself back in River City, I was like, right, I need, that's not how you do it. And so I've definitely got advice for folk over the years to help me. When I done Endeavour on ITV, I don't know if you've ever heard of that. Have you heard of that, Endeavour?
Uh-huh.
So it's like Inspector Moss. There's a prequel to Inspector Moss. So I was on that. I played, funnily enough, a wrestler for the 60s. It was accused of killing a takeaway driver. So with things like that, I just go to other people for advice and figure out how I should do it. It's all just about being real. At the end of the day, it's being real and being as natural and real as you can. So I'm trying to nail that.
Trying. What were you like as a teenager?
Again, just wrestling daft, wrestling and football daft. Loved. I mean, that when I passed my test when I was 17, passed my test on the Wednesday, and on the Saturday I drove down to Newcastle for a wrestling booking. So I feel as if I had quite a lot of experience of travelling around the country at a young age and seeing everywhere. And so that was probably, I kind of built me up for, how can I say, what do I mean by that? Put it this way, I wasn't feared to get out there and do stuff. Going out and wrestling in live shows, it builds up your character. You can build up a good character and confidence for performing in front of folk. And I've been doing that since I was 14, 15-year-old. Still there? Right.
Aye. Did you stick in at school or what?
Well, I thought I'd done not too bad at all school in terms of I'd done standard grades. I'd done 2 1s, 2 2s, 4 3s. Was not too bad in 4th year. But then in 5th year I failed all my highs. And in 6th year I left school to become a youth worker for Young Scott. You ever heard of Young Scott?
No.
No, you ever heard of Young Scott cards? The Young Scott cards? Aye, I worked for them. And that was up your way, Edinburgh. So that's where you stay in it. You stay in Edinburgh.
Nah, Gala Shields.
Do you? Gala Shields. I've wrestled in Gala Shields. You ever been to a wrestling show?
No.
I'll need to get you to a wrestling show once. The shows start opening back up again as well.
VIP.
Oh, well, aye, definitely. You can come in VIP at Gala Shields Community Centre. Or whatever it is. Is there a town hall? I can't remember where I've wrestled in Gala Shields.
Volunteer hall?
What's it called?
Volunteer hall, maybe?
I think that could be it. That rings a bell, mate. That rings a bell.
What did your family say when you told them you wanted to be a wrestler?
Well, my mum and dad thought it was a lot of rubbish, and I was 14 and I was travelling up in a train to Glasgow to get picked up random guys off the internet. And so they thought I was kind of, well, at the end of the day, that's what was happening. And they weren't comfortable with it at all. They only ever started getting comfortable with it when I started wrestling at the Hydro and SECC. That's when they started, their moods quickly changed once I started wrestling there compared to the Civic Centre and Ardrossan.
So did you find the lads on Grindr?
No comment. I don't think Grindr was about then.
Opponent?
Say that again.
Who's your hardest opponent?
My hardest opponent is probably Drew McIntyre. I've wrestled him about 5 or 6 times now. Definitely my favourite opponent, but my hardest because you can't sleep on that big guy. You've got to keep up with him, and it's absolute full pelt for the first bell to the pin, and you've got to be totally switched on wrestling Big Drew.
I know. I want to ask, it might be a controversy, but is wrestling fake?
How dare you offer me that question? You ever seen Jim McLean with the reporter, where he punches the reporter?
No.
That's what I'd do with you. That's what I would do with you if this was new on Zoom. Of course it's no fake. Of course it's no.
No,
Next question.
Okay, now.
Does Paul Daniels give away his tricks? Don't think so.
Funniest actor you've worked with?
Funniest actor I've worked with? It's got to be probably Elaine C. Smith, who plays Is it Kath? No. What's her name in it? What's her name in Hingway? What's fucking Elaine C's name in Two Doors Down? It's not Kathy. What's her name in it? God damn, that's not going to look good. What is it?
What, the one that acts silly?
Aye, that's Kathy.
Aye.
Christine, it's Christine.
Ah,
Christine.
right.
God.
And you're on the show.
No, I get mixed up. It's because of the 2 C's. But she's definitely the funniest person I've ever worked with.
Worst dresser you've worked with?
Worst? What did you say?
Worst dresser.
Worst dresser? The worst dressed. The worst dressed. That's a good question.
Pick a Celtic fan.
Pick a Celtic. Well, Toll, he's always jumping about in retro Celtic taps.
Aye.
So, and it's that, and the old Bumblebee one and stuff like that. So I'll pick Toll, Chris Toll.
You'll end up wanting a fight with you.
I'll take the jaw clean off me. He's been threatening to do that to me for 2 years. Wee bam.
I can mind the episode where he jumped in front of the queue, the woman.
Toll jumped in front of a queue and a woman.
Mine on Scott Squad.
Oh, right. It's Tam Spraggins on Scott Squad. Aye, that was brilliant. The Shagger one. Hey, Shagger and all this. Aye, that was hilarious. That's probably my favourite Scott Squad clip.
Who's the hardest actor you've worked with?
Hardest actor? Who's the hardest actor? Who would that be? Shell Suit Bob.
Best fight you've had in wrestling?
Best fight against Drew McIntyre at the SEC, November the 15th, 2015. Where I bet, in fact, was it November the 15th? It wasn't the 15th of November. I think it was November 2015. I beat Drew in front of 5,000 people at the SEC to win the ICW heavyweight title. Without a doubt, that's my favourite fight.
Worst injury you've had?
Broken ribs, absolute fucking nightmare because there's nothing you can do. And you can't work out. Not that I'm always working out, but you can't do nothing with broken ribs. It's a fucking nightmare. But concussions as well, they're not funny. I hate them. Concussions. Hate concussions.
How did you break your ribs?
A wrestler called Lewis Girvin done a thing called, wasn't it a club stomp, it was something else. Basically, I was lying in the corner, and he too fit it, full weight himself, jumped on my chest, just a big jump on the middle of my chest, and broke all my ribs. So it was a fucking nightmare.
Best role you've played?
Best role, probably Alan in Two Doors Down, because it's a wee bit. Because when I play Hugh McCurdy on Scott Squad, it's basically just a kind of another version of myself. Whereas Alan, it's a wee bit. He plays a more kind of doer character, you know, all. So I'd have to say that's the best character I've played.
Best work night out you've had?
Best work night out.
Aye.
I mean, I've not been in a work night out for years, man. The last time I was in a work night out was probably somewhere in the fire brigade. And I worked in the fire brigade in the control room. And I don't remember it because I was too steaming, so... Aye. I think. What night out? I can't remember any nights I had.
Any night out.
What's best night out I've ever had? That's different. That's different. Probably any times when I wrestled in TNA in America, and we'd finish wrestling at Universal Studios and go to downtown Orlando, and we'd hire a big bus, a big party bus, and all the wrestlers that were on the show would crowd into this party bus, plenty of drink, dropped half in the tune, and that was us to 3 bells in the morning in the middle of Orlando. Misty nights.
Were you there when Kurt Angle was there?
I was there when Kurt Angle was there. He was there for the first 2.5 years I was in TNA. He was good to be about. He was always good for advice. It was always amazing being backstage and getting advice off Kurt Angle. He was always up for watching my matches and giving me feedback and stuff like that.
How come in TNA the rings are different to the ones in UK?
6-sided ring.
Aye.
It's a nightmare. I have trouble with 4 sides, never mind 6. So for me, it's a pain in the arse. I don't know. It came from a kind of Mexican tradition. Apparently, in Mexico, the sides are 6-sided. The rings are 6-sided. But I think they've got rid of that now. It's back to being 4 sides, which thank God, because it is. I don't think it doesn't look right to me. It's not traditional, and it puts a lot of people laugh. It's like Kurt Angle apparently had some of his best matches of his career in TNA, and I basically think a lot of people don't get a chance because it's in that 6-sided ring.
Who were your wrestling idols?
The Rock, Kurt Angle, Colt Cabana, Doug Williams, Ric Flair, Jeff Hardy, Taker, Hunters.
Rey
Hunters.
Mysterio.
Who do you like wrestling?
I've watched it, but I wouldn't say I'm like a massive fan.
Right.
Best arena you've wrestled in?
That's a good question. I like to show off that I've wrestled at Wembley. I wrestled in a steel cage match in Wembley against Eli Drake. I've wrestled at Manchester Arena. That was superb because I saw The Rock versus Stone Cold there in 2001. So that was nice to wrestle there. And the 2 big Glasgow venues, Braehead. No, Braehead, I've not wrestled there. SCCC and the Hydro. They're amongst my favourite.
What got you involved with Grado?
Basically, this time last year, they asked me to go to an audition, I think, and go and film a sort of a tester tape with Adele and Crofty. And
you met Adele?
we done a kind of taster tape together. And then I think a couple of weeks later, they asked me if I wanted to do it, Breakfast Radio. And I've always kind of wanted to get into radio. I've got a wee obsession with radio and podcasting and stuff like that. I like, I don't know, I've always just been fascinated by the idea of Breakfast Radio, getting up early, going, talk a lot of rubbish on the radio, and then get back up the road and get on with other stuff. So it's been brilliant. I've loved it.
How many likes have we got in this video?
How many likes should we get in this video?
Aye.
17,009.
Let's go with that. But what I'll do, Grado, is I'll end it here, but I'll chat for you for like 2-3 minutes.
Aye, that's fine. Aye, is that all right?
Aye. So thank you very much, Grado, for letting me interview, mate.
Aye, no bother at all, pal. Anytime. I'll try and get Jack Docherty for you as well, by the way.
Aye. Cheers, bud.
Brilliant. Anybody else you want me to you?
I'll
Like,
talk to you off.
right. Okay.